Hi everyone.
How's it going? So we hope you guys are enjoying our homeless talk. We've gotten some comments on here. We responded to one. Again, we are no longer homeless. Just want to be clear about that. We were homeless though for 19 months.
In 2017.
In 2017 to 2018, to the end of 2018.
Kind of, yeah.
Towards the end. However, you know, there's so many things happening because since then COVID happened. People are losing their homes. People are, you know, there's no funding or what's going on. But we wanted to talk about something that's very important that you guys can maybe, as a community, help the homeless if you want to. And there's simple little things like this. We sell these little things at Dollar Tree, all right? They're little file folders. This, you know, one of the most important things you can take care of while you're homeless is your
documents.
Yeah, if you have a birth certificate, you have your ID. Yeah. I mean, some people don't have a wallet, or some people, I'm not sure.
Yeah, but job applications.
But it's just good to get one of these. Dollar Tree, it's waterproof. There are better ones. There's higher quality. But however, this is the case. So if you guys see this at Dollar Tree, buy them.
Very convenient.
Donate them to your local, you know, charities or whatever, because this is necessary. You put all your documents in there, and you know, anytime you go and talk to the outreach places, they're going to ask you, can you bring your intake stuff? What's your intake stuff? Okay, usually it's a birth certificate, your ID, any documentation that showed that
medical information, all that.
That you once had a house or your job or your something, pay stubs, whatever. This is very important. So that's one of the things we're going to talk about. Another thing we're going to talk about is compassion. Just compassion. I've been seeing that a lot in the comments. And it's
kindness and people, I guess, taking it the wrong way that we are thinking we're better than people.
No,
nothing like that. Okay, this is just our story, our experience, and how our points of views on this whole experience that we went through.
Because it is an experience.
We did have compassion and all that.
Yeah, we did. And even now, what are we doing now? What are we doing now? We try to give back because we did meet many nice people who weren't even connected to any organizations, who just like I can give you a story.
Hey there, Moo.
Hey, I'll give you a story time. You know, we were at Costco one day and I was doing some slight shopping, and the lady happened to see me and she started making conversation with me. We started talking. She was from Hawaii with her family. She was visiting her grandbaby, and I don't know how she knew. She just knew, and she's like, "Hey, can I ask you something?" Like, "Yes, go ahead." She's like, "Are you homeless?" I'm like, "Yes, we are. We're living in our car, and you know, we're trying to make things happen. We're trying to get things going." And I couldn't believe it. She pulled out $100 and was like, "God bless you. You know, you never lose your faith." And what did she say? Enjoy the struggle.
Oh yeah.
Enjoy the struggle. So that was it. Made my day. You know, it's a beautiful thing because these are things that some people have never ever experienced in their life.
No, and a lot of people assume that you need to look really dirty and unkept, and your car needs to be messy. And some people think that people are gonna feel sympathy and really help me if I look this way.
But there's simple hacks that we can do. So hopefully we can
get into it because again, we still continue to dress the way we do. Like the makeup I have on, just regular makeup. And again, people are like, "You don't look homeless because why is your hair done?" Yes, right.
So that's where the compassion comes in, because you know, we're all judged. No one is perfect, okay? No one is perfect. Everyone's going to make their assumptions. And as far as being compassionate, that's being compassionate. I honestly, though, like, I have compassion for everyone. However, there are some people who I feel they need help. Like, you know, there are people, if you ever drive around town, where their car is just packed to the top of the roof with just
papers laundry,
non-stop, like blankets and stuff. It's like, those are things where you have to learn how to
yes, because that draws a lot of attention, and some people, they actually do get like pulled over by the police and say they're not even doing anything wrong. They're just like, "Hey, I'm resting."
So that's another thing that we want to cover as well, is like, don't give anyone reason to be suspicious or weary of you. The compassion, like, I really want to talk about that.
I don't even know how to explain that, because like, what is an example? Like, some people just...
Well, that's the thing, you know, I've been seeing in the comments that a lot of people are just putting about compassion, like, "Oh, well, you know, as long as it's compassion, okay, yes." But what exactly does that mean? Because to me, I'm thinking, like, in my head, right? Even now, if I have an extra $1 and I see someone struggling, I'm just going to give it to them. Hey,
some people are like, "No, I worked really hard for this $1, and no, I'm not doing that." And there's some people that just think
like that, and they're not going to change.
Like, no, they can go buy something like for cigarettes or something, they think
whatever
this
they
good work,
think it is, again.
They're like, "No." I just think that's just petty people, and if you're gonna, donate money to someone, I believe that you shouldn't even expect to get paid back if you're lending it to them or something like that. People are like that.
Yeah, that's true.
If you want to give them money, do it from the kindness of your heart. And I think the money is
thing
more
too is like
important.
I think that's the thing, you know, where people like they strip away your what is that, your preference. You know, they just want to give you something, and it's like a lot of times I'm grateful for it. Yes, we were grateful for it. However, what does it take to ask somebody, hey, what would you like? Would you like a milk, or I can buy you a sandwich?
Be honest.
Or, hey, you know, it's like that was funny too when we were homeless. You know, because we really try not to be homeless. We just did because it's a very shameful thing,
especially
you know?
if you never grew up like, I don't know, around like.
If you've never had to struggle with that, like there are things you hear and you're like, how does that happen? Well, we lived through it. And then you talk to people because they say you talk to these people, and then you have people that are telling you, well, why should I trust you? If your own family, because that was the case. We have family, but see, our problem was that we were doing well. We were the ones who the family would come to us and we would help anybody.
And if you're new here, this is my sister Evelyn. I'm Emily.
And we're talking about our homeless when we were homeless. From 2017 to almost 2019.
So she has 6 children. I don't have children. And she was divorced at the time when all this happened. So.
And then my son started having seizures.
Her parents lived with us.
Yes.
And they moved in with my other siblings once.
So we lost everything. We lost everything. We ruined our credit because we were trying to, uphold the bills when there wasn't any income coming in. We didn't qualify for any services. So now we're talking about it. We're talking about how can we improve it. If nobody's ever heard stories like this, how can they improve anything if they'd like to? How can they make it better, or at least try to? Just any little help will help. So yeah, about stripping your needs or your preferences, that's a funny story. So we were homeless one time too, and I had a couple of dollars, and there's this really nice man who was playing the guitar, and he was like, oh, I bet something. He's making small talk, and I'm like, all right, I knew he wanted something to drink. It was hot, so I'm like, hey, I don't have much, but I'd like to buy you something to drink, something that you prefer to drink. And he was like, do you mind if it's a beer? No, I don't mind if it's a beer. Go ahead, go. Just don't go past like $3 or whatever it was that I had. And he was so grateful, and he was so happy. And I ended up seeing him again many times after.
And even when we were in the situation, helping others that were homeless too, like
that's the thing too. There is a community as well. There are you have the ones that are just like we talked about. They're greedy. They just want more. And then you have the ones that try to work with your own community. Like, hey, I saw you the other day. Look, I see you out here. You're struggling. Here's $5. There's $10. Remember me when you see me out here. It's because I'm struggling, and it's a beautiful thing. It doesn't go into anything more. No. I wouldn't hang out with people just because then it gets slippery. Those are things too. But there's the compassion. That's where the compassion comes in.
Oh yeah.
And then there was another comment about resources. Yeah, unfortunately, there are resources.
They give you numbers, lists, like pages of, contact this. You call the numbers, you're like, all right, you need to call this organization. And it's like, it's not even in town. If I don't have the means to get there because I'm living in my car and I'm working and I don't get paid on this certain day, like, or people that don't even have transportation, like, they want you to go out of the city to go get help.
It's a lot. That's what we ended up having conversation with a lot of these groups from these counties. Not only this county, but other counties, because we were couch surfing. We were just,
we didn't know it was couch surfing.
Well, we didn't know it was couch surfing.
They
but
told us
I was making calls, like, people that I knew, like, hey, do you happen to have an extra room, or
only the
park
ones
in your driveway?
Only the ones that weren't judgmental, that were like, okay,
sure.
They saw the reality of it.
Right.
So I'm like, you're just a liar. You can go back to your ex-husband. Your parents or your siblings.
Like, you're telling me your siblings, your brother-in-law is somebody really important. He's not going to
he didn't care. Not every.
It's not my problem.
When you're at your lowest, even family members.
And it's very sad. That's where the lack of compassion is, because you see people's true colors, and it's like, oh my God, wow, like, how did I not see that? But you can either be resentful towards it, or you can just grow from it and move on and know that there are people like that.
So it's funny because once we got out of the situation, all those people that turned their backs on us, like, oh, wow, so hey, how's it going again?
Oh, can I check out your new place?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, hey, you see,
like nothing happened, like no shame, like they didn't care about, turning their backs on us, and then all of a sudden, oh, hey, you're not homeless anymore, right? Because they don't want to be seen that you're homeless. They don't want to be seen with you, and have people
or know that you're
associated
associated with them.
So it's funny.
So that's where all the lack of compassion.
And that's what I'm saying.
How can we do better?
Lack of compassion,
I mean, it starts as a young age.
At your job, people knew we were homeless. Kids at the school, like the principals, a lot of them, the district, they all knew we were homeless and nobody cared. So where's the lack, the compassion? It's not. You just grow from it and
Do you
move
think
on.
that we should be taught as a young kid, like to be compassionate? Is it taught, or is it something that you?
I think
grow and learn?
it's taught and with just, I mean, you have to learn from someone, like a guidance, someone that.
So
But
where do you
if
learn
someone
if
has
you've
a
never
mentality
had
like, oh, like that other comment said, oh, homelessness is homelessness. Well, what is that person's definition of homelessness? So what do you think?
Are you
that
not
is?
validating that?
So are you just like, oh,
Because
I don't care. I see a homeless person and oh,
I just keep driving.
yeah, or
I'm
oh
not-
yeah, like just no. I mean, it just depends, I think, on your own mentality or what that is, and we can't change anybody's mind. These are just our opinions and our points of views of it.
And so again, our point is maybe we can help somebody. These things are $1.50. They're better quality ones
Yeah.
if you want them. You go on Amazon or whatever. But this is something that if you want to donate something, we were talking about the socks
Yes,
and the underwear
socks,
being and toiletries like tampons and pads or whatever. That stuff is always great. They always need that. Toothbrushes are always needed. But I would say this is the number one because some people don't have a backpack.
No.
And backpacks get wet.
Oh, yeah.
And it's very hard because you have to be on the go when you're living on
I mean,
the
yeah,
street.
you can put papers in it, but you need something
You need something that's going
in
to
this
give you a
and
little
then
bit of
into a
protection.
backpack, yeah.
But if you don't have a backpack, this is your backpack.
That's great. You put everything in there.
And you
put,
just,
keys, whatever you have in here. If you have like a
Yeah.
storage room, a P.O. box or whatever, you put everything in here and use what you have.
Yeah, here's what you have.
What else?
But I would say this, maybe tomorrow or so when we'll do another video, we'll show you about the places where you can shower if you need to. Or how to shower if you need to, because these are things like I would have never thought in my whole life. Like, where, these are things that people take for granted. Using the bathroom is
Oh,
something
yes.
that
The
people take for
restrooms are
granted.
such an issue
They
everywhere.
are an issue. Especially now, they're even worse now, which is terrible. I feel so bad for all these people out here because now they lock up the restrooms. I understand there are some people who just make a mess.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have to do something, has to be controlled. I understand that. However, you have to learn real quick. Like us, for example, you have to kind of get into health. Like, hey, look, I know that I can't eat after 8:30 in the evening because if something happens, I have to use the bathroom.
And again,
Bathrooms aren't open till 4 or 5 in the
when
morning.
we had the situation, we'd sleep in the parking lot, right? Like Safeway, for example. Well, some Safeways are open 24 hours, so
some
that
aren't.
was the
Some
restroom we
close
would
at-
use
some
to
close at
use.
2 a.m.
Yeah, you have to do that. Like,
So you have to learn
and
real
especially we
quick.
had kids, so I mean that was another big thing. I mean, you're getting off in the middle of the night with your kid to use the restroom. How do you explain that to anybody? Why is that kid up? Well, I'm homeless. Oh, and then people just assume the worst.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
But
what do you
it's a
do?
terrible thing, we again with kids. At the time, my kids were so little. They were what, 2, 3,
2, 3,
6,
and you had just had a
9.
baby. So that was
And I think the oldest was like 13 at the time. And it's horrible, you go through all the seasons, right? Like wintertime when kids get sick and they're vomiting and they have
Diarrhea. No one thinks
And
about these
are
things.
things where it's
You
like,
have messes, accidents in your car.
and you can't
What do you
leave it
do?
there because it stinks.
Right? And
You have
because,
to clean it
again,
up.
the lack of compassion of people, they don't care.
Yeah, so
That
I
our-
was like asking people, hey, I'd go to these places, I'd scan your hey, and people would be like, what do you
Oh,
need
and
the
then
patch
some
for?
kids that have medical issues, like your daughter that had the urine problem too.
Yeah, she had gastro issues. And so she would have accidents. It's a mess. It's a pain, and people don't understand. Right away, they assume the worst. So as far as the compassion thing, we gotta do better. We can do better. Everybody can do better. And I'm not saying you have to give anything. No, the least you can do is, hey.
And I don't feel resentment towards any like drug addicts, anybody that's in that situation. I just moved past it and we experienced it. And again, these are just our opinions.
But there was a lady or somebody who said about, imagine that, going through drug treatment and you don't know what the next move is.
Yeah.
Well, see, again, this is where I think that's one of the key factors that's missing. There needs to be a lot of case management.
Yes.
You have people that have all these bachelor's degrees and they're not doing anything
No,
with
and they're
it.
closing at 5
So-
o'clock. the
So if you have a
offices.
bachelor's degree and you have a passion, get into that because
People should, especially with those type of degrees, you can volunteer your time, overtime, if you really wanted to. And a lot of these people come, I mean, maybe, it's just my opinion, a lot of some of them are like, oh, I've never been married, I don't have kids, I don't have any, and they can do that extra time, but hey, that's their own
Yeah,
life,
they
and
should. I mean,
that's just my opinion on that.
it's a very humbling experience.
Yes,
It's
it
a
is.
humbling experience, and I think more honestly, and I know this is horrible to say, but if I have like a site where we could do like retreats for the weekend, you're gonna have a homeless retreat, and you're not gonna be able to use your car. You have no friends. You have one person you can talk. It's a humbling experience.
Yes, it is.
Take a shower in a public place when you're most vulnerable. and you don't know who's going to come in or
And
what's
again,
gonna
some people
happen.
just think, how are you showering in public restrooms? Well, we called it a shower. Sometimes we take an actual bucket and actually be doing the
shower.
rinsing.
It's a shower.
And then other times it's just getting the paper towels
Or
with water
washcloth
and
and
soap, and
yeah.
you're wiping down and then, rinsing all that. So I know a lot of people have questions about that.
I was so embarrassed, this is things that happen. I remember it was so hot that one summer, and I had a boil. I got a boil like close to my groin. I was so embarrassed, but it was so painful. And when I went to the urgent care, I had to tell him, like, look, I'm so embarrassed. I'm homeless. I haven't showered in a couple of days.
Sleeping in the car.
I just, it's been hot. It's been sweaty.
Legs are swelling.
There's no access to like burning water. And she was like, I'm like, I've been doing my best to try to keep it clean or whatnot. And she took a look and she's like, oh, it's actually, you're doing well, for like your situation.
Yeah.
So she gave me some cream and it went away. But it's
I
awful.
had gotten stabbed twice in my leg because I was working as security and it was summertime. So I don't even know if it was the boots or where I was
Friction,
working.
something.
So that was terrible too. It was something so scary. My leg was burning. It was hot to the touch, and I went to the emergency. And I'm like, wow, like what do you do in these situations? It's so scary when you don't have anyone to help you. So again, if you are like living in those type of situations, definitely go to the emergency and get checked out when
regardless
anything.
of you're worried about a bill, go get it.
Because I know I was really embarrassed too. Like I had doctor's appointments too. I was trying to get my health in order, and I was embarrassed. My legs had swelled so much, and it was embarrassing. I didn't tell the doctor man that I was that I was sleeping in my car. I was embarrassed. I was ashamed. I was like, no. And he was just assuming, well, you're overweight. I bet you're at home eating bonbons, watching TV all day. And I was just like, man, I mean, whatever. Like, because I'm fat. So people assume, oh, that's what you do all day. I'm like, wow. But what can you do? These are people with degrees, right? And they're telling you this. And I'm like, oh my gosh, whatever. But yeah, that's why I was like.
So another thing you can do is just, if you are in that situation, please, it doesn't matter if it's park, doesn't matter where you're at, elevate your legs, elevate your legs, elevate your legs.
Yes.
I honestly thought, I thought I had thrombosis because
It was terrible.
we were sleeping in our car.
You're in pain, like behind your knee, everywhere.
And my legs were so swollen. It's just,
they started even bleeding because they're
bleed.
so swollen and itchy. And oh my gosh, it's
these
terrible.
are the gross things.
Yeah.
This is
and
the
it's
ugly
embarrassing.
side of being homeless that no one talks
Yeah,
about.
it's embarrassing. I was hiding my legs with baggy pants at the time, and also at the time I was trying to get the weight loss surgery, and again I was doing the diet while I was homeless, and it was to benefit my own health because I'm like, this is scary. What if I don't wake up one night in the car and then my legs being swollen? I have to make drastic changes. All that, so it's very scary, and people don't think about that. And then again, so I had my date to get the surgery after the year that I was doing the appointments and all that. I had lost 40 pounds from just doing the diet, and again, I still didn't have a house to recover at, so I couldn't get the surgery because they said
they're like, had the surgery.
I didn't know you were gonna walk around with drains, like all these bags, and I would definitely need to be being taken care of, and so I had to postpone the surgery. I didn't get it.
And again, even though there were social workers who talked to us, they're like, oh yeah, shelters are full.
Yeah.
That's like medical attention. There's no way we can place you anywhere for that.
So I just continued the diet as best as I could, and all that work that I went through, in the process, it wasn't. I couldn't. I didn't have anywhere to go. I had family members. They weren't willing to let me hook up my CPAP machine or nothing like that. So I couldn't get the surgery. All right.
All right. Well, I think we covered most of it.
Yes.
Thank you again for watching.
Yes, and this is just our experience, and yeah.
Have
Thank
a
you so
great
much.
night. Thank you.